Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bench to Bold. I'm Marnie,
And I'm Alisa.
and we're super excited. We have an amazing guest today. She is a dear friend of mine, Kristen Weaver. So, Kristen, thank you so much for joining us on Bench to
Hey.
Bold. And you look beautiful. And we're
Thank
just super happy to have you share your incredible journey with us. So, let's start from the beginning and tell everyone how you're such a positive force on Instagram and with your clients, and that's how we connected. So let everyone know a little bit about what you do and who you are. And also, I'd like to know, where did all this positivity come from, because
Yeah.
it's really contagious and I love it.
I think that actually you and I connected really quickly with that specifically. The question was asked who I was really before I became, part of this Dream by Weaver empire that I'm trying to build. And it was really just, being a wife and a mother and being married to an NFL coach and having all these balls in the air. And I feel like a lot of women can relate by kind of spending years putting everyone else's dreams and schedules and needs ahead of my own, and I've always been a big dreamer. I know you can say the same. um, I just like encouraging people, and I've always been that way. My husband will tell you, I'll go to the restroom in like a nice restaurant. This is years ago, and I'll take forever in there, but I'll know the bathroom attendant, where their kids went to college, their favorite color. That's just kind of who I've always been. And for the longest time, I felt like I was kind of, falling to the wayside or the sideline, if you will, while being Coach Anthony Weaver's wife and AJ and Justice's mom. So I found sort of my voice in the realization that I want to do so much more to just inspire and have everyone feel like the best version of themselves also.
Well, you're definitely doing that, and I think that and that's certainly something that we can all relate to, is wanting to not feel necessarily that we're on the sidelines. But sometimes it's hard when you're out there and you're being a spouse or being a partner and having relationships and being a mom and being a business owner. And so, what are some of the things that give you the kind of the juice to keep yourself motivated and going?
I think, it was really terrifying for me to first put myself out there into social media. I feel like I'm kind of a dinosaur when it comes to that. But I realized in order to reach the people that I want to reach, I had to put myself out there and learn how to do it. And to see the engagement and I'll see someone on the street, and I know I don't have like, a million followers, but someone will tell to me, and like I inspired them one day, or they really needed to hear that affirmation that day, or, thank you for making me not feel alone. And just like the little tiny bits of sparkle that someone else might feel just makes it absolutely worth it to me to put in such time and effort, and just truly, and I know it sounds so juvenile, but just wanting the world to be happy, wanting everybody to live their happy lives.
It's not juvenile. I think that that's something that is a beautiful message that you're trying to convey. And obviously, your husband is a coach. He's a professional coach in the National Football League.
Mhm.
And so, uh, you're a coach of your family and your friends and your business. So what would your locker room conversation be to people out there? Like, how can they, if they're having a hard time, how would you inspire them to go out there in the second half and get it together?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. Um, I like to I like to think of it as maybe the first steps is, while people are searching for answers and they think that they need more motivation to get up and do this, I think sometimes we need a little bit of quiet. Maybe get some clarity first. Give yourself a moment. Answer some of these questions, do your breathing. I'm all about calming down first. Think slow, talk. Wait, no, sorry, I'm gonna have to erase that because I was trying to quote my husband because he has a really good quote, but I don't remember what it was exactly. Uh, think fast, talk slow, right? So get your mind to keep up, and then put out what the messages that you really want to relay. I think too many times we just let all this mind chatter, this cheetah vreedy kind of take over what our purpose is and where we're supposed to be. So if you get a little clarity first, then you can show up to be your full, authentic, powerful, amazing self.
I think that that is, I love that. And so I think that that's a great lesson. Just, I mean, we're going to keep talking, but I feel like we could just be like, all right, I love learning things. And that's why certainly I love following you and being your friend, is that you really do deconstruct what seems so obvious. And it does take us a moment to just stop and be like, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to unplug myself like a human computer
Right,
and start over. All right.
right.
So, obviously you are a coach's wife and you're a mom. So what does that mean when uh there's football games on Sunday and things like that? Some of the stuff that obviously people want to know about, but that they might not even understand what a typical day is like or a year is like, or anything like that.
So I would say, people get to see the fun and the excitement of the game, right? That's what Sunday is all about. And the bigger picture, though, is the part behind the scenes that you don't really get to see. While we are absolutely so blessed to be a part of this life, you don't really see the adversity and the schedules being all in the air, and dad missing a whole bunch of hours at home, and the uncertainty of the outcome. You're putting your whole life on the line here, and then are you going to win or lose, or maybe relocating your family, all of those things. But the most important part is that our family stayed consistent. Our faith and our beliefs, our family unit was always strong. And I think the results, since they're not guaranteed, it's kind of cool to see all this consistency add up to success. Anthony always says you only can control the controllables. And that's true in football and in life. The same lessons kind of carried us through my son AJ's moments, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But it's like you don't get over things just one night. And I kind of ventured off because we were talking about game day. Sorry, but it's like all these small steps, all these little wins. Again, it's consistency, and it just shows up. And you're going to be successful if you stay consistent in that way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and if you'd like to talk about AJ, certainly I would love for you to share that story if you're comfortable sharing
Sure.
that. And, it's a beautiful story and you're an incredible mom. And so please let everybody know about some. I mean, and again, because I think people see this glamorous lifestyle on the outside, and which there are many moments of really incredible things,
Yeah.
but it really comes down to it. There's a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And I think that's with pretty much every family, every life. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is NFL families are different from everyone. And at the end of the day, we're all just on this planet together trying to raise the most healthy, um, confident young people and strong marriages. And we all want the same goals. And I think what it comes down to is, sticking together. And what happened with us, AJ, and if you don't mind me going into the story,
No,
just
please, I would love for you to share it.
okay, great.
Thank
So
you.
so AJ at 11 years old, he is now 14, and he suffered with debilitating anxiety. This came out of nowhere. It was absolutely nowhere. All of a sudden lost his ability to walk. So this kid, who is the most athletic, gorgeous, I'm a little bit obsessed with my kids, just a wonderful child, and all of a sudden just lost his shine and his confidence, and couldn't get out in the normal world, normal in quotes, and show up as himself. It was debilitating. He couldn't walk into school. I slept on his floor for 3 months. He thought he was going to be sick at night. I took my clients out of Zoom, out of the car, because he wouldn't even attempt to go into school unless he saw me parked out there. Every day I sat outside of that school. It was the most challenging moment as a mother I've ever been through. Now, again, I like to see the positive of all of it. And what was so humbling at first, it's like I'm a life coach and I have all these clients and I help them get over specific obstacles, almost like this. I'm not a medical professional, don't get me wrong, but my husband, he's this leader of men. He's the most amazing coach. I'm not being biased in any way. He's fantastic. We couldn't help our son in that moment. And it was humbling. So what we did, I threw all of my life coaching tools at him. I was like, why didn't I start this with children. I was only teaching adults at this time. And I was like, wow, my kids could have benefited from all of these little tools, and we threw them all, gave him everything I had in my toolbox. We called all the doctors we had at our disposal. We're so blessed to have the most amazing people backing us and supporting us. And what we did was we journaled through it all. We wrote down what worked and what didn't work for him. And at the end of the day, he did want to share his story so that he could help other children and not feel alone and not think they have to navigate this thing by themselves. We are in it together, and even parents. So parents, when you're struggling with this kind of thing, when you can't see what your child is in pain over, it is another level of mind blowing. You can't just give a Tylenol and be like, "Oh, feel better." It just doesn't work that way. So we took something so negative and so tough into this beautiful, positive light of helping others and hoping to, help other people navigate what we went through. That is where the book came in. We wrote a book together, my son and I. He is my co author, A Family's Playbook to Coping with Anxiety.
I mean, it really is. I've heard that story from you before, but it,
Mhm.
it, it's every time I hear it, I learn more about you and your resilience just how that's just part of what we have to do. We have choices in life. We can either, stay negative and down or turn to the positive. But again, like eh, where I'm just it's so fascinating to me because people ask me this too. They're like, because I've had my own share of things that have been pretty difficult, but like, where does this positivity come from, Kristen? Because it's not natural. Most people, I would say this, most people have to turn to a lot of therapy or drugs and alcohol or something maybe to get through it. And it's really enlightening. Like I really am in awe of that, especially when you have a sick child. They're really, I mean, I can say from my own experience that there's really nothing like it when you have a sick child of trying to figure out how to get over that curve. And like where just it's amazing. How do you do this?
Well, I think after walking through something like that with your child, you kind of don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
Mhm.
He's going into high school, and yes, I'm concerned about him, showing up as his best self and grades and all these things. But at the end of the day, I see parents over here freaking out about how they're going to get into college and which this, and I am just like, my son is walking, like actually now he is running into class and having his best life and living his best life. And those things matter to me now. Like, absolutely, I'm going to be supportive and want him to be successful and, get good grades and do all the things. But just to see this kid smile, oh my goodness, it's different. Um, we just got back from a basketball tournament in which and I'll tell you let me go back a little bit. We left Baltimore, and that was when he was in the thick of his anxiety. So we went down to Fort Lauderdale, where my husband was the DC of the DC of the Dolphins, and then now we're back up here. Now the thing is, we could have moved anywhere, 32 teams, and our path was to come back here for the third time. My husband is now back with the Baltimore Ravens, and this is the same school that my son could not step foot on campus. He couldn't walk onto that basketball court. And we're in the same league, the same coaches, the same counselor that held my hand, that texted me 100 times a day to make sure that I was okay, to tell me what was going on inside the school. Same stuff. AJ, we walked onto that campus the first time and I didn't know what to expect. And he's pointing at the bench and he's like, Mom, do you remember that's the bench that we had to meditate every morning? He's like, oh, this is going to make me cry. Whew. He's like, that's where you parked out so we could do our breathing exercises. And that's where, and it's like, this kid, and it didn't phase him. He was so excited to come back and be AJ 2.0. He is starting on this AAU travel basketball team that, again, he had to go and sit and do tapping. And I need a moment. And oh, man, just to see him thriving right now I can't even put it into words.
Well, so I guess that first of all, thank you. I mean, I'm tearing up hearing you share that story. And what really is remarkable is that, okay, whatever one believes in faith wise, I think that there is a higher power for sure of the fact that that you get to experience this in another version after these years of having this terrible time in AJ's life, and now you get to go back and experience it in a different way. And I love that about the universe and,
right?
you know, God's plan and all of those things that really
Absolutely.
do, I think, culminate in success. And like you were saying, it's just being consistent and knowing that you're going to get through it and having a positive attitude. And now here you are at basketball tournaments in Baltimore. And yeah, I mean, I want to be a Ravens fan now too, Kristen.
Well, please do. I mean, he got a real life redo. Like, when do we ever get to have that? You know, God is good. I tell you what. So
So, were you ever able to uncover where the anxiety was stemming from?
the doctors, all the things, no, and I don't want to say just diagnosed with, he was diagnosed with generalized anxiety
Yeah.
disorder. We did all of the testing. We did, I mean, it could have been anything under the sun, and that is what he was diagnosed with. Now, what I will say is the scary part about this stuff is it might start with a little bit of anxiety, right? And that develops. And if you don't have the right tools, the proper ways to handle it, it just snowballs. And what happens is depression is very, very common in this age, would be the next step. And then after that step, and I hate to even say it out loud, but suicide rates are astounding in our youth. Um, a very pivotal point for our family was when AJ, he left his phone out in his screensaver, and he was 11 years old, and the screensaver was a stick figure smiley face kid, and it was taking a mask off, and it was a sad face underneath. And I was like, whoa, we got to get this under control, because it's just very pride swallowing, I think, would be tough, be fair to say, very pride swallowing. You don't want to admit that your child might have a problem or could go into depression like that. And when we talked to the doctors, that was our first step to, okay, we got to do this. We're going to a psychologist. Do we need medication? What do we need? Let's get over this hump together. And we were very fortunate that he would talk to us and share with us what he was feeling. And that's what every doctor, every nurse, every school, every counselor was like, that boy is telling you that he's not okay right now. How are you going to fix it? So we did. And as a family, and here's the thing, I don't want it to be a misconception that, like, oh, he's fixed now, all done, we're done here, he's never going to be anxious again. Absolutely not. That is not how anxiety works. It has a way of sneaking in and, messing the furniture up and leaving its mark. And I just feel like at least now he's prepared, and he has the tools, or plays we call them in the book, to get over the humps when they come, and the hurdles and the challenges, and use his voice and talk instead of letting it fester and be scared and feel like you have to do it by yourself, because you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, I think that teenagers, and first of all, thank you for sharing this story, because it is something that seems kind of messy as a mom. You're like, oh my, how do you present, these beautiful family photos, and yet there's some sadness, beneath them. So I think that the fact that you have the bravery and the courage to come out there and be like, I'm Kristen Weaver, and here's my story, and this is our family story, and we're going to stay on top of it, because you're right. I mean, there are things like once it's fixed, it's not really, I mean, it's a constant thing of like, we have to always stay on top of what it is so that it doesn't go back to where it was. But you're so involved as a mom. Not everybody has that privilege of having parents that really do understand what that looks like for their family. But I think that having people with a voice like you going out into the universe and sharing that is something that is really a positive thing. Also, I'm sure for your husband, for Coach Weaver, that he's in the locker room with a lot of young men that are probably having their own version of anxiety too, based on the fact that they have to perform on a national level, and it's a very competitive job. So what would what what does coaching look like at your house? Like, how does your husband interact with your children, and like what kind of, for other families that don't have that, what would some of the messages that he would share?
I'll ask you this. Have you ever seen an interview from my husband, Coach Anthony Weaver?
Yeah, I
Have you
have.
ever seen
Yes.
the way he talks there? It is not a facade or smoke and mirrors. That man has a gift with words. He is an incredible speaker, and on top of that, father and husband. There is something magical inside of his, like, I don't know what God just gave this man this gift. He has an ability and a way with words. He has a very calming demeanor, and specifically with our children. And if you have time, I actually have a story from this last weekend. He's got a magic about him. I think I don't know exactly how to put this into words. It's not, I don't think it's something that you can practice or train for. He's very gifted, and helping you to take a step forward, helping you to become your best version. And I think along the way he might have pushed me a bit to become a life coach. He made me a better person, for I believe in myself. And I couldn't be even more proud that he is our kid's father. They've got quite the role model. But can I tell you this
Yes,
story? And
please.
you can cut it if you want to. This is me talking to my friend. We're in Virginia, major nationals championship for his team that he played with my son. Starting five, you have to play. It was 5 games total over 2 days. So you play until you lose, right? So the second to last game, this kid comes out, a huge kid, and he's throwing bows. We're talking about not like just playing aggressive, playing nasty. It was nasty. There was like 5 technicals, to the point where Coach Weaver is getting off of the bleachers screaming at the refs. You can't let kids play like that. Someone's going to get very badly hurt. Other little soft, quiet parents are on the court screaming. Okay, so everybody was on edge. It went into like all this overtime. It was the longest game ever. But if you win this game, you go to the championship, the very final game. Okay, AJ gets elbowed over and over, but you could see this one hurt him. He was on the biggest guy. My kid's pretty big. It hurt him. The next play after, he hits the game-winning three-pointer. Okay, awesome. Wins the game. Everyone's cheering. AJ, great. High-fiving. He comes to the side. Dad takes off. We got to get the dog out of the hotel because we didn't realize we were going to be there that long. We didn't know we were going to get to the championship. So he's rushing. He's hauling ass, go and pick up the hotel. And I'm get to the side with AJ, and he looks at me. He's like, Mom, I'm going to pass out. And he like falls on me. He's like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So his chest is going, his breathing is going because of this injury that this kid did to him. And all these people are cheering for him. And I'm like holding him up. He doesn't want to make a big scene. So we walk to the side. I have his little brother, who's 8 years old, giant little brother. And he is so sweet and crying because he's like, what's wrong? Why can't he breathe? What's going on with him? All of this stuff going on. Our last game is in 40 minutes, by the way, the championship game. I'm calling Anthony. I'm like, I don't know if I'm equipped. I don't know if I can handle this. I need you to come back. Help me. So I go, he asked for a medic, which was that big of a deal. If AJ needs a medic, I run to the front. The medic comes and, check out. He ended up having a big bruise here. It was inflammation and okay, all the things. But I could see him a little bit start to unravel. Like I think it scared him. He couldn't get his breathing under control. Teammates, coach texting me, where are you? Is he going to play? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm calling Anthony. He hauls butt back, gets in the car with him. And in my mind, he's not going to play. There's no way he's going to play. He's on the other side. There's no way. I take the dog and my other son out and we go and just watch to support the team. 5 minutes late, I look up and here comes AJ and Dad walking in, and he's changing his shoes, lacing up his sneakers, and they won the championship.
Oh my gosh.
He
Wow.
crushed it. But those words, I don't know what he said in those 10 minutes to our son, because I couldn't get him out of that car. I couldn't get him to get on that court. And Daddy did it. Dad
Well,
was
that's
tears
teamwork.
falling everywhere. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. That was last
But
weekend.
Well, first of all, congratulations. That's amazing. But I think that that's really the definition of teamwork, of you knowing what you could do and then
Mhm.
being like, I'm going to pass the ball to my partner, to my teammate to move the ball down the field.
Right.
And I think that that's a beautiful definition of what teamwork is not trying to take on a task that you already knew that you had done all that you could do, and now it was time to rely on your teammate to do that, and you
Right. We
did.
did all of the exercises. We tapped in. We did all, and he was back to baseline. But I don't. know if I could have motivated him to get on that court the way Dad did. That was inspiring. It was amazing.
And then to win it. So
And to win it.
congratulations.
Not even just to show up and crush it.
That's fantastic. And all right, so now you're back in Baltimore, and what is it like? How does it feel to you to be back in Baltimore?
Man, grateful. I mean, I think this is like the word of my year, my decade. Grateful. I am so grateful. Anthony is so grateful. My kids are so grateful. This is the one place they wanted to be. AJ was so excited to show off AJ 2.0, maybe prove something, which he didn't have to, but to show the kids, the teachers, the coaches, who he is and what he's capable of. But then we get here and the love you feel. This city is it's just amazing. The organization is amazing. You can feel the love that is here for Coach Anthony Weaver and his family. They're just so supportive. Everyone is, I mean, it's sunshine and rainbows right now. Sunshine and rainbows right now. But let's see. We got to get those games under control. We got to go win. I feel like this is Super Bowl time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely all right. So, what is it like to be a fan? I mean, what is it like to be a fan? Like, how would you explain to be your husband is a coach, and
Mhm.
what are some of your favorite fan moments of being a fan?
Oh, I think just perseverance. I don't really know that I could pinpoint one instance. I just think it's cool to see it all come together with all of the work and effort that Dad puts in, that not everybody gets to see. It's just the consistency. I don't really have an answer for that one as a fan. I don't know. I think I take things a little differently just because I'm so invested in it.
Well, I
Yeah.
have a great friend who's a super fan of the
Oh yeah.
Ravens. He's super excited for
Oh
the
yay.
Ravens to come play the Panthers.
When is that?
I don't know. I don't know the
I
date.
just saw the schedule and I was like, I saw that one because I'm trying to
Yeah.
get a roster together of which games I'm going to go to.
Yeah.
I don't know what the date is, but
I
he's
Very.
think
super
it's in
excited about it.
October. I know. I told you have to stay at my house, so there's
And by the way, can I just say how cute your accent is? I think this accent is, I
Thank
love it
you.
so much. I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston, so I love an accent.
Well, I have one for sure.
Love that.
Yes.
all right. So you're back in Baltimore, or have you relocated? Are you moved in yet? Like, what are the next steps until the season starts for you and the family?
Oh, we're here. Husband just got on break, so we are about to travel the world. This was the one that we're actually leaving tomorrow again. We just got back Monday, leaving again tomorrow. So we're on the move. We're gonna get it all in. Let Dad feel some excitement and freedom, and then he's going back to the grind and gonna get this season underway.
Uh,
Where are your trips planned? Do you have any fun trips?
Oh yes, we do. So we're not one to do like these giant trips. We try to fit it all in and see the family and do this. This year, though, we're doing it big. We're going to go to Croatia, Slovenia, and Venice. And we're meeting another family out there. Very, very excited for this one.
I just left Venice last 2 weeks ago, and
Did
you'll
you
love
really?
Croatia. I went to Croatia last year. Yes, it's fabulous.
I have heard nothing but good things about Croatia. Do
It's
you know where you
fabulous.
went there? Because
We went all over. We do a backroads tour with Backroads once a year, and it's a planned vacation company. And so it was a multi-sport. So you do biking, hiking, and kayaking was the one we did. But we hit all the great cities in Croatia, and we did some boating. We were on a private yacht with them that they had planned for. I
wow.
mean, it was fabulous. It was
Wow.
probably one of the most fabulous places I've been.
You're
with
not the first
Backroads.
person to say that. A bunch
Yeah,
of people, every time
Croatia
you
is
mention it.
fabulous, but Venice is too. I'm Italian,
Right.
so I love Italy. But
Are you
Venice,
really? Okay.
yeah,
I'm
half.
very excited about it all. Now, I mean, I worry about like all the hiking and stuff with the kids, but I can't wait. I
You're
cannot
gonna
wait.
love Croatia. Yeah,
That's what I'm told.
Hvar, fabulous.
We're gonna do tobogganing and whitewater rafting and zip lining, you name it, we're doing
Yeah,
it. We're
they
getting
have
it
a lot
all
of
in.
they have a lot of things to do. Are you doing it through a vacation company?
There's this one travel agent that my husband met when he was a player, and he is like, you just tell him kind of what you want, and he
Yeah,
lays it all out.
I love
What am
that.
I doing here?
Yeah. Well, you'll love Croatia. It's fabulous.
Thank you. I'm excited to do it. That just makes me even more excited.
All right. So, Kristen, where do people find you on social media? If they're curious to know about Dream by Weaver, how do they get, how do they connect with you? How can they follow you? Where would people find you?
I am at Dream by Weaver LLC, and I was going to say my email address. I don't know if that's probably good. I don't know. I'm just so open. I probably need to like rail it in a little bit. Yeah, Dream by Weaver LLC. I think that's the best way to do it. It's
All right.
got all
And
the
so,
information.
and so what about the book? So, what's the latest with the book? And how can people connect with you and find and read AJ's story?
So yeah, reach out to me, message me. My literary agent, I just spoke to her today, as a matter of fact. We are wrapped up as far as the book is being finished, because our very last chapter was waiting to get back here and to have AJ's words. And oh, wait till you hear his words from his mouth coming back to Baltimore. It's a tearjerker. So get ready for that. But our last chapter was coming back here and we just completed it. So the book is done. Now we're just
Congratulations.
waiting to get it out. Oh, it's been years in the making. I know you know
Yeah.
this author over here. God, I mean, how many books do you have now? You're very inspiring.
Thank you. 16.
16.
Yeah, 16.
And they're
So,
good.
thank
I
you.
have them here. They made the trip. I have them
All right,
together.
good. I'm glad. Well, you could, we'll do Baltimore soon, so get ready.
I'm excited about that. I would
Yes.
love to do that.
All right.
Um,
Well, we talked about that, so that'd be good.
We did.
Yeah.
I just want to hear more about it. I know that's not for this, but you and I need a whole nother conversation on this.
Well, no, I mean, I think that we all, we're all sports fans. What I love about Alisa is that she's a huge sports fan. So she doesn't really, so that's how we initially, another thing we can also talk about is that Kristen recently went to the Ronald McDonald House in Baltimore. So that's how, we'll stop. We'll end the show here, but that's how Alisa and I met, because she's on the board of the Ronald McDonald House. So we all agree that finding ways to give back in any capacity is really, truly our currency. And the other stuff is great too, but we love finding ways to connect and make a difference. And you definitely do. I know Alisa does.
We love the Ronald McDonald House. My husband and I love the Ronald McDonald House.
That is amazing. And when I went to go tour that day, I told you that you don't realize how many people are involved in these amazing,
and we have no connection to the Ronald McDonald House. I mean, we didn't have children that had to go there, thank God, but we just I actually had a connection. I was on a different board with Susan G. Komen, and the guy up in Winston-Salem, where I'm from, he actually is at the Winston-Salem Ronald McDonald House financial guy, and he sat on the board with me, and that's where I first learned about the Ronald McDonald House. And then I moved to Charlotte and tried to get involved during COVID, and to be a volunteer. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, and that's funny, because remember when I told you that it was just random, I met someone here that was on board at the Ronald McDonald House here, had nothing to do with you, nothing to do with, it was just, she was on the board. Do I want to go tour it? I was like, absolutely. By the way, I'm going to go start teaching my mindfulness and emotional intelligence courses there starting in July. So yay.
Yay. Well, thank you. And that day when you said that you were going to the house, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm in Philadelphia. I'm on my way to the Ronald McDonald House in Philadelphia. So it was, just again, finding ways. Your positivity, Kristen, is contagious. And that's why, I'm your biggest fan, but many people are. I'm sure that there are many people out there that are part of the Kristen Weaver fan club. So
that's so nice to say.
Yeah.
Stop. I already
Yes.
teared up twice today. Cut it out. It's
well,
so nice.
Yeah, it is. It's, because you really do make a difference. And when I see the things that you share, and we, there's always a lot of beautiful positivity. And that's really what we all need in our life. So thank you.
I do believe in divine time. And I think you and I met at exactly the right time. And for all three of us to have had this strange Ronald McDonald connection is also very sure. I can't wait to get to know you more also. Please call me anytime. I love to talk. I love it. But I believe in divine time. And I just think that we were meant to be friends, and there's going to be a lot of fun ahead of us.
I am really looking forward to it. And that's really something that, again, and sometimes people say like, oh, the internet or whatever social, but we met because I saw you on Stacy's show. And by
Yeah.
the way, Stacy sent me a message the other day and she was like, wait, you're in Dallas? And I'm like, well, my son is living in Dallas right now. I'm not there, but I'll see you soon. So it was just like, it
I
was
love her so
really,
much.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
we're
great.
only an hour from her now. So I actually saw her a couple months ago when I came with my son's. They had a field trip
Mhm.
to up where are they? Washington,
Yeah.
and I got to see her. I was like, "Ah, it's been forever."
I know. Yeah, she's great. So it'll be well this season we'll all be on the East Coast. So we'll all get together and do a nice selfie for Instagram, but also we'll
Also,
break
have a
the
good
internet
time.
as they say, but we'll reconnect. So well Kristen, thank you so much for joining us on Bench to Bold. You have so many great stories and you're such a great influence of positivity and love and all the good things. So thank you. And thanks everybody. I'm Marnie
And I'm Alisa.
and we'll see everybody soon.
Thank you.